Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I am so grateful you've joined me today, and I can't wait to dive into something that has the power to change your life. Do you have any idea how powerful you truly are? Most people don't. They live their lives as if they're small, fragile, and incapable of handling the chaos around them. But you're not fragile. You're not weak. In fact, you are more terrifying than a devil. And I don't say that lightly. A devil might seem like the ultimate representation of fear, of chaos, of malevolence, but what is a devil compared to a human being who has faced their own darkness and come out stronger? The devil doesn't change. It doesn't grow, it doesn't choose, it simply exists bound by its own nature. But you have the power of choice. You have the power to rise above what you were yesterday, to overcome the very things that threaten to destroy you. Think about the courage it takes to confront what you fear most, not just in the world, but in yourself. The thoughts you try to avoid, the failures you'd rather not remember, the parts of you that you wish didn't exist. The devil, it doesn't do that. It doesn't reflect. It doesn't face itself. But you can. And that's where your power lies. When you look inside yourself and see both your potential for good and your potential for evil, you start to understand what it means to be human. It's not about denying the darkness within you, it's about acknowledging it and choosing to be better despite it. That's what makes you terrifying. That's what makes you unstoppable. Every time you choose to face your fears, you grow stronger. Every time you rise after falling, you become something that even the most terrifying force would hesitate to confront. Because you're not just enduring, you're learning, adapting, and evolving. And then there's your creativity. You can build things, create beauty, and inspire others. No devil can do that. Chaos doesn't create. It doesn't imagine. It doesn't heal. But you have the power to do all of those things and more. That's a strength no force of destruction can ever match. Finally, you carry the weight of moral responsibility. You can look at the evil in the world and the potential for it within yourself and decide to be a force for good. That decision, that commitment, is what makes you truly formidable. You are not bound by instinct or nature. You are free to choose, and that freedom is terrifying to anything that would stand against you. So stop pretending you're small. Stop acting like you're powerless. You are far more terrifying than a devil could ever be. Because you're human, and being human means you have the power to confront chaos, to create order, and to choose a path that elevates not just yourself, but the world around you. Do you understand what it means to truly see yourself? To peel back the layers of self-doubt, fear, and insecurity and come face to face with what you really are? Most people don't. They live their lives trapped by a limited idea of who they think they can be. But here's the truth: you are far more than you imagine. Beneath the surface of who you are today lies a vast, untapped reservoir of strength, potential, and capability. Self-realization is not about looking in the mirror and seeing the person you already know. It's about looking deeper, about recognizing the person you could become. It's about seeing the potential that you buried under years of hesitation, of self-imposed limitations, and of listening to voices both internal and external that told you to stay small. When you realize what you are capable of, it's not always comfortable. In fact, it can be terrifying. You begin to see that you've held yourself back more than anyone else ever could. You see the times you gave up too early, the opportunities you let slip by because you were afraid to fail. But this awareness, as painful as it might be, is the key to unlocking your power. Because once you've acknowledged your own limitations, you can begin to break free from them. Self-realization is not passive, it's active. It's a process of taking ownership not just of your strengths, but also of your flaws, your fears, and your failures. It's understanding that the things you've been most afraid to confront about yourself are often the very things holding the keys to your growth. And once you grasp that, there's nothing you can't face. When you realize what you're truly capable of, the world looks different. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable become opportunities. The fear that used to paralyze you starts to fuel your determination. And the dreams that once felt too big to reach, they start to feel like goals, like milestones you can and will achieve. But it all starts with you. No one can hand you self-realization. It's something you have to earn. It comes from looking inward, from being honest with yourself, and from refusing to settle for anything less than your full potential. When you realize who you are, when you truly see the power within you, you become unstoppable. Think about what it means to be human. You're not simple, not predictable, not a single thing. You are a kaleidoscope of thoughts, emotions, instincts, and experiences constantly shifting and evolving. That complexity is what makes you extraordinary and terrifying. Because within you lies the capacity for both immense good and unimaginable evil. It's easy to think of yourself as one-dimensional, as though you're just a good person or a bad person, but that's not the reality. You're capable of incredible kindness, compassion, and love, but you're also capable of anger, envy, and cruelty. It's not about denying one side or the other, it's about understanding that both exist within you. And that understanding is what gives you power. This duality is what makes humans more complex than any mythical figure of good or evil. A devil may symbolize destruction, and an angel may embody perfection, but you embody choice. You can hold both light and darkness within you, and you have the power to decide which one you'll nurture. That choice, that ability to confront your complexity and direct it, is what makes you formidable. You're not just shaped by your biology or your circumstances, you're shaped by the decisions you make in the face of them. Your instincts might push you one way, your emotions another, but it's your mind, your awareness of your complexity that allows you to choose a path. That awareness means you're not trapped by your flaws or limited by your fears. It means you can grow, adapt, and transform in ways that no simple creature ever could. And think about this complexity isn't just a burden, it's also a source of creativity. Because you're so multifaceted, you can see the world in ways no one else can. You can imagine, innovate, and create things that have never existed before. You can build relationships that are nuanced and meaningful. You can experience the full spectrum of life, from joy to sorrow, and use that richness to fuel your growth. The most terrifying thing about human complexity is that it comes with responsibility. You don't get to hide behind simplicity. You can't say, "This is just who I am," and stop there. You have to own every part of yourself, the good, the bad, and the in-between. You have to confront the parts of you that you'd rather ignore, the parts that scare you. Because only by facing those can you truly understand who you are and what you're capable of. Your complexity is your greatest weapon and your greatest challenge. It's what makes you stronger than any single force of good or evil. Because you're not bound by one path, one identity, or one way of being. You are a constantly evolving force, and that makes you limitless. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward despite it. And the source of real courage is awareness, awareness of what frightens you, awareness of your vulnerabilities, and awareness of your own potential. Most people think courage is some innate quality, something you're either born with or not. But it's not. Courage is a choice, and that choice begins when you open your eyes to the truth of who you are and what you face. Awareness can be unsettling. It's far easier to live in denial, to ignore the things that scare you, and to pretend the problems in your life aren't as big as they are. But deep down, you know that avoidance doesn't solve anything. It only gives fear more power over you. The more you look away, the larger the shadows grow. True courage comes when you stop running, turn around, and face what's been chasing you. When you become aware of your fears, you realize they aren't as invincible as they seem. Fear thrives in the unknown and the stories you tell yourself about what might happen. But when you face it directly, you begin to see it for what it is, a challenge to overcome, not a wall you can't climb. Awareness strips fear of its mystery. It shines a light on the dark corners of your mind and gives you the clarity to take the first step forward. Awareness isn't just about external challenges, it's also about looking inward. You have to confront your own weaknesses, your own insecurities, and the parts of yourself you wish weren't there. That's not easy. It's uncomfortable to admit that you're not perfect, that you've made mistakes, or that you're not as strong as you want to be. But this kind of self-awareness is the foundation of courage, because once you know where you stand, you can decide where to go. Awareness also brings with it a sense of responsibility. Once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. You can't pretend you don't know what needs to be done. And that's where courage comes in. It's not just about facing your fears, it's about acting despite them. It's about choosing to step into the unknown, to take risks, and to pursue what matters, even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. The beautiful thing about courage through awareness is that it grows. The more you face your fears, the more you realize you're capable of handling. The more you confront your vulnerabilities, the stronger you become. Every time you choose to act with courage, you prove to yourself that you can rise above whatever life throws at you. Awareness is not a weakness, it's a weapon. It gives you the ability to see clearly, to understand the full scope of what you're dealing with, and to make decisions with intention. It turns fear into an opportunity for growth and challenges into stepping stones. And when you combine that awareness with action, you become unstoppable. Courage is not something you find, it's something you create, and it starts with seeing the truth. Choice is one of the most powerful forces you possess, yet it's often overlooked. People tend to underestimate the weight of their decisions, brushing them off as minor or inconsequential. But choice is far from trivial, it's a weapon, one that can shape your life and the world around you. Unlike any other creature or force, you have the unique ability to decide who you want to be and what kind of life you want to lead. Choice is powerful because it is deliberate. It requires awareness, thought, and responsibility. It is what separates you from chaos. Chaos reacts, it doesn't choose. A devil might embody malevolence, but it acts according to its nature, trapped in a role it cannot escape. You, on the other hand, are free. That freedom is what makes you dangerous to anything that seeks to control, limit, or define you. Every moment you're alive, you're faced with choices, some small, some monumental. Each one has the potential to push you closer to your goals or pull you further away. And even when the circumstances around you seem overwhelming, your power lies in how you respond. You might not be able to control everything, but you can always control your actions, your perspective, and your next step. That's where your strength is. Choice is also a tool for transformation. It's how you evolve. You can choose to let your failures define you, or you can choose to learn from them and grow. You can choose to cling to your fears, or you can choose to confront them and move forward. You can choose to give up, or you can choose to persevere. Every choice builds on the one before it, creating momentum that shapes your future. What makes choice so powerful and so terrifying is that it comes with responsibility. You can't hide behind circumstances or blame others when you're the one holding the reins. It's up to you to decide what you'll do with the opportunities and challenges in front of you. And sometimes making the right choice means stepping into uncertainty, into risk, into discomfort. But that's where growth happens. Choice is also what allows you to rise above your circumstances. No matter where you come from, no matter what you've faced, you have the ability to choose how you'll respond. Will you let the pain and setbacks define you? Or will you use them as fuel to become something greater? That decision is yours, and it's one of the most powerful tools you'll ever have. When you realize that choice is a weapon, you stop living passively. You stop waiting for things to happen to you, and you start taking control. Every decision becomes an opportunity to move closer to the person you want to be. And as you make those choices with intention and courage, you'll find that nothing, not fear, not failure, not even the weight of the past can hold you back. Choice isn't just something you do, it's who you are. It's the defining force behind every step you take, every change you make, and every goal you achieve. When you wield it wisely, there's no limit to what you can accomplish. You are not a victim of circumstance, you are the architect of your destiny. And that's why choice is the most powerful weapon you'll ever possess. Resilience is not something you're born with, it's something you build brick by brick through the adversities you face. Adversity is an inevitable part of life. It comes in many forms: loss, failure, rejection, pain, and uncertainty. At times, it feels overwhelming, as though the weight of the world is pressing down on you. But here's the truth: adversity doesn't break you, it reveals you. It shows you who you truly are and what you're capable of becoming. When adversity strikes, it's tempting to see it as an enemy, something unfair that's come to derail your plans. But what if you saw it differently? What if you viewed adversity as a teacher, as an opportunity to grow? Because that's exactly what it is. It forces you to dig deeper, to push harder, and to discover strengths you didn't even know you had. The most resilient people aren't the ones who avoid hardship, they're the ones who learn to thrive in its presence. Resilience doesn't mean pretending everything is fine when it's not. It doesn't mean ignoring pain or suppressing emotions. True resilience comes from acknowledging the difficulty of the moment while refusing to let it define you. It's about standing firm in the face of the storm, knowing it won't last forever, and that you're capable of weathering it. Adversity has a way of stripping away the superficial, the unnecessary, and the distractions. It forces you to focus on what truly matters. It pushes you to ask hard questions. Who am I when everything falls apart? What do I value most? What am I willing to fight for? And in answering those questions, you start to build a foundation that is unshakable. The beauty of resilience is that it grows stronger with every challenge you face. The more you endure, the more confident you become in your ability to handle whatever comes next. Each setback becomes a stepping stone, a reminder that you've overcome difficulties before and can do so again. This is how resilience transforms you. It turns adversity into fuel, into the very thing that propels you forward. Adversity also teaches you to adapt. Life rarely goes according to plan, and resilience means being flexible, finding new paths, and refusing to give up when the road ahead looks different than you imagined. It's about innovation, creativity, and determination. Resilient people don't wait for circumstances to be perfect. They make the best of what they have and move forward anyway. But perhaps the most profound aspect of resilience is that it inspires others. When you rise after being knocked down, you become a beacon of hope for those around you. Your strength reminds them that they too can endure, that they too can rise. In this way, resilience is not just personal, it's communal. It has the power to ripple outward and create a culture of courage and perseverance. Adversity will come, that's a certainty. But resilience is your response. It's the choice to stand back up, to keep going, and to grow stronger with every challenge. You are far more capable than you realize, and it is through adversity that this truth becomes undeniable. Resilience doesn't just help you survive, it empowers you to thrive. Creative power is one of the most extraordinary traits of being human. It's the ability to take what exists and transform it into something entirely new, to see possibilities where others see limitations, and to bring ideas, dreams, and visions into reality. Creativity isn't limited to art or invention. It's the force that allows you to shape your life, solve problems, and leave your unique mark on the world. To create is to harness the chaos around you and give it order and meaning. It's not just about making something beautiful, it's about making something yours. Every choice you make, every word you speak, every action you take has the potential to shape the world in ways that didn't exist before. This power is deeply human, and it sets you apart from anything else in existence. The remarkable thing about creative power is that it thrives in adversity. When faced with obstacles, challenges, and setbacks, creativity steps in to find new paths and solutions. It's in these moments of struggle that your mind begins to innovate, to explore possibilities you might never have considered otherwise. Adversity doesn't stifle creativity, it ignites it. But creativity isn't just reactive, it's proactive. It allows you to dream of what could be, to imagine a world better than the one you know, and to take steps to bring that vision to life. This is a profound ability. Where others might see the way things are as fixed and unchangeable, creativity allows you to see potential, to see what's missing and create it. Your creative power isn't just about changing the world around you, it's about changing yourself. When you approach life creatively, you become more adaptable, more resourceful, and more resilient. You see challenges not as barriers, but as opportunities to grow and evolve. Every failure becomes a lesson, every setback a chance to try something different. This mindset not only makes you stronger, but also opens doors to possibilities you might never have imagined. And creativity isn't something you have to earn, it's something you already possess. It's woven into your very being. From the way you solve problems at work to how you connect with others, your creative power is always at play. It doesn't require special tools or circumstances. All it requires is your willingness to engage with the world, to take risks, and to express yourself fully. What makes creative power truly transformative is that it inspires others. When you create, you give people permission to do the same. Your courage to innovate, to try, to fail, and to try again becomes a beacon for those around you. Your ideas spark ideas in others, and this ripple effect has the potential to change lives far beyond your own. Creative power is limitless. It's the force that drives progress, builds relationships, and shapes the future. It's the part of you that refuses to settle for what is and instead strives for what could be. It's not bound by rules or expectations. It's fueled by your imagination and your willingness to act. This power isn't something distant or unattainable. It's already within you, waiting to be unleashed. When you recognize and embrace it, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Moral responsibility is one of the most profound aspects of being human. It's the recognition that your actions, decisions, and even inactions have consequences that extend beyond yourself. It's understanding that you are not an isolated being, but part of a larger interconnected web of relationships, communities, and systems. With this understanding comes the weight of knowing that what you do matters, that you have the power to influence the world for better or worse. At its core, moral responsibility is about accountability, not just to others, but to yourself. It's about living in alignment with your values and principles, even when it's difficult. It requires honesty, integrity, and courage. It demands that you confront uncomfortable truths, admit your mistakes, and take ownership of the impact you have on others. This is not easy, but it's essential for living a life of meaning and purpose. Moral responsibility is rooted in choice. Every day you face countless decisions, big and small, that shape your character and affect those around you. You can choose to act with kindness, fairness, and respect, or you can choose to act out of self-interest, anger, or indifference. These choices may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they accumulate, defining the person you become and the legacy you leave behind. What makes moral responsibility both challenging and empowering is that it's not something you can delegate or escape. It's uniquely yours. While circumstances and external forces may influence your actions, the final decision always rests with you. This means that no matter what life throws at you, you always have the ability to choose how you will respond. This freedom is both a privilege and a burden, and it's what gives moral responsibility its weight. Taking moral responsibility also means being aware of the impact of your actions on the world around you. It's about recognizing that your choices ripple outward, affecting people you may never meet and shaping systems that will endure long after you're gone. This awareness can be overwhelming, but it's also a call to action. It's an invitation to live with intention, to use your influence for good, and to contribute to something greater than yourself. Moral responsibility doesn't mean being perfect. It doesn't mean you won't make mistakes or fall short of your ideals. What it does mean is that you're willing to learn, to grow, and to make amends when necessary. It's about striving to do better even when the path is unclear or the stakes are high. It's about refusing to let fear, complacency, or cynicism dictate your actions. One of the most powerful aspects of moral responsibility is its capacity to inspire others. When you take responsibility for your actions and live with integrity, you set an example for those around you. Your courage to stand by your principles, even in the face of adversity, can encourage others to do the same. In this way, moral responsibility is not just a personal virtue, but a catalyst for collective change. Ultimately, moral responsibility is about acknowledging the power you hold and using it wisely. It's about recognizing that your life is not just your own, that your actions shape the world you inhabit, and that you have a role to play in making it better. It's not always easy, but it's worth it, because when you live with moral responsibility, you live with purpose, and you become a force for good in a world that desperately needs it. Moral responsibility is not just an obligation, it's a testament to your power as a human being. It's the acknowledgement that you have the ability to shape your own life and influence the lives of others. The choices you make, the actions you take, and the principles you uphold define not only who you are, but also the world you leave behind. You are not powerless in the face of adversity, nor are you a passive observer of life's events. You are an active participant, equipped with the ability to discern, decide, and act. This power demands accountability, courage, and compassion. It requires you to confront your fears, own your mistakes, and strive to do what is right even when it's difficult. The strength of moral responsibility lies in its potential to inspire change, not just within yourself, but in the world around you. When you live with integrity, you set a standard. When you act with kindness, you create ripples of goodwill. When you take a stand for what is right, you encourage others to find their voice. In the end, moral responsibility is the path to a life of purpose and meaning. It is the choice to rise above complacency, to embrace the power within you, and to use it to build a better future. The world doesn't need perfect people. It needs people who are willing to take responsibility, to act with intention, and to strive for greatness in their own imperfect way. You have the power to make a difference. You have the power to live a life that matters. The question is, will you choose to wield it? The answer lies in the actions you take, starting now.